Welcome guys, Sizwe Sake Academy, and this is the global classroom. Still on trigonometry, special angles in pi radians, right? We've dealt with 0 rad, 360 is 2 pi, 0 degrees is equal to 0 radians, 90 degrees is pi over 2. If you don't know how we got that, check our other video where we give the first description of these 0, 90 degrees, 180 equaling pi, 270 being equal to 3 pi over 2, and 360 equal to 2 pi. Get that video, watch that video and see how we get about with this. Now we are going to deal with 30 degree, 45 degrees, 60, 120, all the other special angles that we haven't dealt with yet. Right, this is how we do it. Because we said 180 degrees is equal to pi, and then we said we divided 180 by 2, we got 90 degrees is equal to pi over 2, right? So 90 is pi over 2, 180 is this. So we are working from 180. As you can see, we said pi over 2 because we were working from 180. We are working from 180, which is pi, right? You'll see why I'm showing you this. So we say if we want to get 30 degrees, what number can we divide pi with to get to 30 degrees? Pi is 180. Pi is equal to 180 degrees. What number, if I divide this, I will get 30 degrees? It is 6. Divide this by 6, both sides by 6. Therefore, pi over 6 is equal to 30 degrees. So a representative of 30 degrees in pi radians is pi over 6. Let me put it here. Pi over 6 represents 30 degrees. Same thing with 45. We say pi is equal to 180 degrees, and we divide this by a 4, divide this by a 4. Pi over 4 is equal to 45 degrees. So here we've got pi over a 4. That's how we get these numbers. Same thing with 60 degrees. We say pi is equal to 180 degrees. Now pi is equal to 180. We divide this by a 3 to get a 60. A 3 both sides. Therefore we've got pi over 3 is equal to 60 degrees. You can just check in your calculator. Maybe we might as well do that. We just, since pi is 180, we say 180 divided by a 6 is 30 degrees. 180 divided by a 4 is 45 degrees. 180 divided by a 3 is 60 degrees. Just for your comfort, so that you know this to be true, rather than just believing what you do not know. Right, so we've got 30 degrees to be pi over 6, 45 degrees pi over 4, 60 degrees pi over 3. We've got pi over 2 as 90, 0 radians, right? So we carry on to 120. With 120, since we've got with 120, now we're no longer looking just for a number to divide, but we're also looking for a number to multiply and therefore divide, because we're working from 180. We're working from 180, so we will say it will be equal to, so it will be pi, so it will be 2 pi over a 3. So 2 times pi, it's 2 times 180 degrees over 3. 2 times 180 is 360 degrees. Divide by 3, it's equal to 120 degrees. So we've got 2 pi here, 2 pi over a 3. Maybe to give it space, breathing space, so that you can see, I'm taking away the spatial part of the spatial angle, so that you would see 120 is equivalent, 120 degrees is equivalent to 2 pi over 3, not 3 pi over 2 pi over 3, 2 pi over a 3. Yes, 2 pi over 3 is 120. Now let's go to 135. So if this is 2 pi over 3, this should be 3 times pi. Let's try 3 times 180 degrees over a 4. I want you to notice this thing. Since these are equivalent, these are the same angles, right? You'll see when we do spatial angles, we did spatial angles, they're equivalent to each other. Maybe let me quickly do this. So since this is 0 degrees, this was 1 is equivalent, x is 1, y is 0. Maybe let me use this, or maybe let me explain this later. Let me focus on this. We will get to this, so that you'd see the equivalence and the coloration, how they get to work together. Let me carry on this side. 3 times 180, 3 times 180, 540, 540 divided by 3, it can't be 3 times 180, it is, we say 2 pi over 3, it is it 5 pi over 4, or 3 pi over 4, 3, 5 times 180 is equal to, and we divide it by a 4, no. 3 times 180 equal to, divide it by 4. Yes, 3 pi 180 divided by 4. So it gives us, so it's 3 times 180 degrees. This is 3 pi over 4, and we divide this by 4. It gives us 540 here. Divide by 4, it gives us, so that you see clearly, 540 here divided by 4, it gives us 135 degrees. So it is 3 pi over 4. 3 pi over a 4 is equivalent to 135. Let me finalize my 3 times 180 divided by 4. It's 135. 3 pi over 4 is 135. And therefore here it would be 5 pi over 6. 5 pi over 6. It should give us 150. 5 times 180 degrees is equal to, and we divide it by a 6, it gives us 150 degrees. So this is 150 degrees, 150 degrees, and we already know that pi is equal to 180. Pi is equal to 180. So the first part is this, pi over 6 is 60, pi over 4, remember, pi is equal to 180. So we're basically saying 180 degrees divided by 6, 180 divided by 4, but we're using radians, we're no longer using degrees. So it's pi over 6 is 30 degrees, pi over 4 radians is equivalent to 45 degrees, pi over 3 is equivalent to 60 degrees, pi over 2 is equivalent to 90 degrees, right round until we get here to 180 degrees. and then we move forward to the next one. The next one is 7 pi over 6. This one, just 7 pi over 6. It should give us 210 degrees. 7 times 180 degrees is equal to, and divided by 6 is equal to 210 degrees. Right, that's 7 pi over 6. It's 210 degrees. Let's check 225 degrees, which is 5 times 180 degrees is equal to, and then we divide it by 4. Let's see if we divide this by 4. It's 225. So 5 pi over 4. Here we've got a 5 pi divided by a 4. It will give us 225. This, and then with 240 we have 4 pi over a 3. Let's check 4 pi over a 3. 4 times 180 equals 2 divided by 3. It's 240. 4, this one will come here, which will be 4 pi over a 3. Right, this is 4 pi over a 3. We've dealt 270 to be 3 pi over a 2. And then we come to this one now, which is 300, which is it not 5 pi over a 3? Let's check. 5 times 180, let's divide by 3, it's 300. 5 pi over a 3 would equal this. Let me wipe off this one. This one would be 5 pi over a 3. It is equal this. And then we come to 315. 315 is 7 pi over a 4. Let's check. 7 times 180, and then we divide it by a 4. Gives us 315. 7 pi divided by I want you to see it clearly. This is equal to 7 pi divided by 4. It is equal to 315. 330 is equivalent to 11 pi. You divide it by 6. Let's check. Calculator. Please do confirm, calculator. 11 times 180, and then we divide it by a 6. It gives me exactly 330 degrees. 360 we already know is 2 pi. So this is what I wanted to show you when we no longer talking on degrees, but we talk on radians. It's just the equivalent of the degrees, or the degrees are the equivalent of the radians. It depends on what you are given. If you are given degrees, they would expect you to deal with degrees. If you are given radians, they would expect you to deal with radians. For instance, if we are doing graphs, a tree graph would look like this, and would have your 30, your 45, your 60, your 90 degrees, your 120 degrees, your 135, your 150, blah blah blah. And as we carry on, they could also not give you in degrees, or tell you they want you to put it in radians, or they just tell you in radians. Now you know that. Or maybe let me not draw another line as though it's a separate thing. Let me just use the red color that I used. So instead of 30 degrees, it's pi over 6, it's pi over 4, it's pi over 3, it's pi over 2, it's 2 pi over 3, 135 happens to be 5, 135, 3 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, and 150 happens to be 5 pi over 6, 5 pi over 6. So instead of them giving you in degrees, they can just tell you in radians, or they can give you in degrees and tell you to convert it to radians, however they put it, but it's just like this. And it is quite imperative of you to know these things off by heart, because you have to know how it came about, what it means, what it is. In fact, we'll do this when we're doing graphs, trig graphs. You will see we will either use degrees or radians. It will depend on the question or how we want to have it done. You will see these things. So this is what it is, guys, in degrees or in radians. Check that other video. It explains where we get all these 2 pi's and 3 pi's over 2 and the pi over 2, 90 degrees. Why do we use this, and how do we get to do this? Here is 30 degrees, pi over 6, right round it goes up until it gets to 2 pi. These are the figures, your 5 pi over 6 being your 150, your 240 being 4 pi over 3. What I want you to notice here, because these angles are equal in any way, they may differ with signs. I will put it here just now, but we've done it. We've done the special angles, the value for x and y, where for 45 degrees it's root 2 over 2. The x value and the y value is also root 2 over 2. The value for 30 degrees it's root 3 over 2 for x value, and it's half for 1 over 2 for the y value at 30 degrees. So those we've done, and I want you to see the correlation now between this one, 30 degrees, and this one. You can see we both divided it by 6, 45 by 4, 60 by 3, and 120 by 3. 90 is divided by 2, right? You can see 7 pi over 6, it's 210, is equivalent to this one. 330, it's 11 pi over 6, 5 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4, 4 pi over 3, it's 5 pi over 3. You will see when we do these angles, you will see how it looks like. Like for 225, that is here, it's minus root 2 over 2, the x value, and minus root 2 over 2, the y value. Right, remember root 2 over 2 is the same as 1 over root 2. I did explain that. Check the other videos where I do the 45-degree angle. When I explain this angle, you see why this is equivalent to this. Even if you punch it in your calculator, it should give you 0.707. Both, if you do root 2 over 2, will give you 0.707. If you do 1 over root 2, it's 0.707. Because it's in the third quadrant, it will be negative in both sides. It will be like this. Well, thank you guys. Hope you got this right. Hope you understand. It's awesome that you've got it on record, so you can always go back and try and prove these things. Where I say 11 pi over 6, you punch your calculator as well to be certain if 11 pi over 6 is indeed 330 degrees. And remember, pi here, pi has its own value. We are not dealing with the value of pi, where pi is equal to 1 point, is it 0.145? Pi is 0.145. Let me confirm with my calculator, and I say, oh, my eyes are failing me now, and I say pi is, it's not 0.45, it's 1.345. It's 1.345. I'm trying to figure out my radians, my eyes. I need to get my glasses so that I can it's written in small things, but I'm quite certain it's 1 point something, 1.345. That's where pi is. So we're not dealing with this value of pi. It is indeed the value of pi, but we're dealing with pi in radians. So as we have done to find out 2 pi using the circumference, we use the circumference c is equal to 2 pi r. It is indeed this r, this value, it is. But we're not dealing with this value here, we're dealing with degrees, complete degrees. Right. Guys, here when we're dealing with pi, like 5 pi, 7 pi over 4, we are not dealing with pi as the value of pi, which is correctly 3.142. In your calculator, if you punch pi in your calculator, some would go straight pi, some would go second function pi. It depends on your calculator. But we are not dealing with this. We are dealing with pi in the circumference, which is 2 pi r. Indeed, this pi is this value, but we are dealing it in degrees, with it in degrees rather than its own unit. So we're not dealing with the unit of pi, we're dealing with the degrees, because this one represents 180 degrees. So I don't want you to confuse pi with, if this is 5 pi over 3, why don't we say 5 times 3.142? No, that's not what we're looking at here. We're looking at pi, this pi, the complete angle, remembering where we came from with pi, how we got to find 2 pi, how we got to find pi. The other video demonstrates it, and it shows how we get to 2 pi is equal to 360 and pi is equal to 180, and then we took it from there, and then we moved to find these other angles, but in radian terms now, not in degrees. Hope it makes sense, guys. Hope you are understanding it. Don't confuse the two. They are different. But if you are calculating indeed the circumference of the circle, you would say c is equal to 2 times 3.142 times the radius you are given, whatever radius you are given, and then you'd find that value of the circumference. But here we are dealing with radians and angles, so radians and degrees in spatial angles. So I don't want you to confuse the two. Please don't. By no means I'm trying to confuse you. So just put aside the 3.142 for now and just focus on pi being equivalent to 180 degrees, 2 pi being equivalent to 360 degrees, and then it will be easy for you to even understand and find these other angles, other degrees, these other special angles. Well, thank you guys for having me.